Welcome to another episode of Bargain Saturdays, and this week I decided to take a look at Panda and the Magic Serpent, a film released all the way back in October of 1958. And I have to admit, I'm probably not the best person to cover this film. I mean, I tend to give a rather quick, dirty opinion, and this movie carries a lot of importance, historically and culturally, as far as anime is concerned. And that probably means, someone that's not going to bother even writing out a script is probably not the best person to discuss it, because let's face it, at most I have a few notes jotted down here, and that's basically it. And I don't even always do that when I do Bargain Bin Saturday episodes. Sometimes I just go in completely noteless and go off, memory, which, some would argue is not even the best way to approach any of those movies, even if they don't carry as much, weight behind them as this one does. Well, that tends to be my style, I'm just giving a quick, dirty opinion video. I'm not doing a really in-depth analysis, so some might argue that's not the best way to approach this, but that's how I'm going to do it. As for why people consider this, important, well, this was the first feature-length color anime. This was Toei's first attempt for the so-called Disney of the East. This was the second feature-length anime they get released in the United States. It was released on July 8th, 1961, just a couple weeks behind Magic Boy, Toei's second film, which was released on June 22nd, 1961 in the States. So, you got that going for it. And then there's the fact this is meant by Toei's president to be something of a way to reconcile with their Asian neighbors. Because this is an adaptation of effectively the Legend of the White Snake, one of the four great folk tales of China. So you got all that stuff going for it. There's just a lot of weight behind this film in a lot of regards. As far as the quality of the dub goes, it's very iffy, to say the least. The male and female lead, I suppose do the best they can with what they've got, but they don't have that many lines. I'd say the narrator might have more lines than the both of them combined. And yes, this film heavily features a narrator that tells us, sometimes stuff that's happening on screen. Like when he's discussing the male lead's dream, he just starts describing what, we're seeing on the screen effectively, which, feels really pointless. I mean, to be fair, it wasn't his decision to do that. It was probably the studio's. I just don't know why they went with it. Like, why are you telling me things I can see on screen? The whole advantage of, doing things as an animated project is, you can show and not tell. That's the whole reason to do something like this. So why tell me things you're going to be showing me? Well, like I said, I can't blame the narrator. I gotta blame the English production staff for that decision. I just don't get it. At times, the narrator is, very helpful, because when they did the songs in this anime, they didn't translate them. They're still in the original audio, which means you have no idea what they're singing about. So when he does give us a translation, even if he's just speaking it as the character sings behind him, it is a nice, thing to have. I mean, I would have preferred, them just putting a English translation on the bottom, and it's add words, but that's not what they went with. So I guess I should be happy we got at least some translation for the love song they were doing at the time. Because, at least it's nice to know what at least one of the song's rough lyrics are. The other songs, though, you'll have to look it up, and go digging or find a English, subtitled version, someone that might offer what the lyrics are for that. Because you're not going to get it with the English release. Another issue I have, is the quality of the film itself. When they did the rip for this film, it was on obviously a rather damaged version of the film. So it's got, obvious scratches in the footage. So you'll have like these lines that pop up, they're like green or other colors, they're in the film because, it's damaged footage. And sometimes you'll have splotches of colors pop up over stuff, or you'll have black splotches that pop up where they're just like missing, part of the image there. And stuff like that just pops up quite a bit. And then there's one animation mistake I noticed involving a fish, oddly enough, near the end of the movie. So that's a bit of an interesting nod, but that's not, so as you know, that's not a screw up on the part of the English dubbers part. That's a screw up by Toei Animation Studios, which really, it's a small mistake. It only lasts for like a split second. The sad part is, like I said, since the footage has been damaged, the color's been really are also messed up. In the case of my version, they seem to be really I don't know what I want to say. Muted, I guess, would be the best way to describe it. Yeah, we'll go with muted. Although I have heard other people say they have copies where the colors are like washed out. In my case, they're just muted. Like we can see on the box art here that the lady in waiting here for the White Serpent, who's hiding in the corner, has like a blue outfit, but in the film itself, it's more of a muted like greenish color or and whatnot. So I'm going to assume that's because of the damaged footage, it's messed up like that. The sad part is the quality of animation still shines through despite this to a certain extent, but I would really prefer a restored cut, which does exist, but that was after this got released, and I'm not sure they're going to do an English dub or even throw this English dub track, on top of the restored footage, because I'm pretty sure that was a restored version for the Japanese version. So there is hope we might get a restored English dub version or even an improved version, which would be even better, but I'm not going to hope too much for it, because let's face it, this is listed, as something of an obscure anime by some people, so there may not be much hope for that. As for the story itself, it's pretty standard fare, for your somewhat ill-fated lovers, albeit love does ultimately conquer all, so ill-fated might be inappropriate here. Yeah. Because we have the monk dude down here in this corner, who basically tries to stop the Magic Serpent. And to be fair to him, spirits, as depicted in most folktales and whatnot, tend to be rather malicious towards humans. So I can't be surprised that he doesn't really trust the spirit of a snake, of all things, not to be evil. So yeah, he tries to split them up, and eventually to help out, her man, because he dies at one point, she basically goes to the ruler of all spirits and basically offers to give up her immortality and magic powers in exchange for the flower of life so she can resurrect him. Which he does eventually get resurrected at the end of the film when we see them, sailing off together on a boat, to live happily ever after. So, love does conquer all, even death in this case. As for why they put Panda in the title, I can only assume it was meant to appeal to the American audience by having a cute mascot, albeit they also decided to call a Mimi down there, the red panda, a cat, which kind of annoys me because, it's obviously a red panda, but I guess they're like, well, people in 1961 don't know what red pandas are, because they're dumb Americans, so we're just going to, call it a cat. Thanks, movie. Though I suppose you can argue I've been, avoiding, one obvious cow in the room, and that the characters in this movie all keep, Chinese-style names, and since I fear I can't pronounce them because I'm a dumb American and not that much of a weeb, I'm not going to attempt it, because I know I'm just going to massively butcher the pronunciation, and it's just better off not done. But yeah, I would say this is probably a film to seek out, if you're interested in the history of anime, but as far as English dubs go, laughably bad at times, bland at other times, it's just probably not worth it. Heck, one of the funniest lines in the movie for me ended up being, a bit where they described this festival as a gay festival. Like, oh my. I mean, I realized when they were using the word gay there, it was meant to be a synonym for happy, sort of like the Flintstones theme song. But it definitely, feels out of place with a more modern connotation for that, word nowadays. So yeah, that was unintentionally hilarious. But yeah, I suppose that covers most of my thoughts. It's a decent enough film, but like I said, the English dub is just just not worth, listening to really. So maybe you're better off looking for the restored Japanese version, because I guess they did do that for a film festival recently. They did a restored Japanese version of the film, so it definitely would have much better picture going for it. I mean, don't get me wrong, the quality does shine through even the grime to a certain extent, but I imagine looking upon a restored version would still be preferred to looking upon this messed up version. Outside of that, it's just a telling of a rather simple story, but an enjoyable enough one. But like I said, the English dub kind of just does not help this story. So I'd rather, if I ever watch this film again, watch the Japanese version with English subtitles. Until next time, then. See ya.
You're taking orders from me.
All right.
And that goes for the rest of you.
John.
With you now. We won! We won! We won! We won! Oh, so slow.